Breaking news tonight, the Trump Organization has been found guilty on all 17 counts of tax fraud and other financial crimes in what prosecutors described as the company's, quote, culture of fraud and deception. But what exactly does that mean when a corporation and not a person is found guilty of a crime? Does it really matter if they're going to have to pay a fine? How does this actually affect the company and Donald Trump himself? Well, first, let's take a look at exactly what the jury in state Supreme Court in Manhattan found. The Trump Organization has been found guilty on 17 counts, made up of tax fraud, a scheme to defraud, conspiracy, falsifying business records. Bottom line, the Trump Organization gave multiple executives under-the-table luxury perks like fancy apartments, leased cars, private school tuition for relatives, none of which the company ever paid taxes on. So the company got to pay them less, and they got the benefits. An attorney for the Trump Organization said the case is unprecedented and legally incorrect. We disagree with the jury's verdict. The success of the prosecution likely came as a result of a guilty plea from the company's long-serving CFO, Alan Weisselberg. One of Trump's most loyal allies, Weisselberg was the architect of the scheme and the star witness for the prosecution. But it's important to point out, he never implicated Donald Trump. Prosecutors claimed, on the other hand, that Donald Trump was, quote, explicitly sanctioning tax fraud. Now the company could face a maximum of $1.62 million in fines when sentenced next month. Is that really a big deal for a company that size? I felt like going like this for a moment. $1 million. Earlier today, before the conviction, but perhaps sensing what was coming, former President Trump posted this to social media. Murder and violent crime is an all-time high in NYC, and the DA's office has spent almost all of its time and money fighting a political witch hunt for D.C. against Trump over fringe benefits, something that in the history of our country has never been so tried in court before. 2 weeks at trial, yet no murder case has gone to trial in 6 years, much to the consternation of victims' mothers and families who are devastated that nothing is being done to bring justice. Too busy on Donald. Now, while almost none of that is true, there have been numerous murder trials in the past 6 years. It's a tax fraud case and the other things which have been tried many times. The DA hasn't spent any substantial portion of its money on this trial, and violent crime actually isn't at an all-time high in New York. But it is fair to ask, this whole criminal trial against a company for a possible $1.6 million fine. Joining us now is Joe Miller. He is the legal correspondent for the Financial Times. He was in court every day during this trial. Thank you very much for coming on the program. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so $1.6 million is the maximum sentence. So sort of what's the point of all of this?
It's a very good question, and one I suppose that Donald Trump was trying to allude to in his factually inaccurate post there. It isn't the biggest of cases. Let's face the facts. You know, I was there in court every single day, and it was incredibly dull, line item by line item of tax ledgers. And what the Trump Organization's entities are accused of doing was definitely wrong, the jury decided, but I would wager that there are many businesses out there doing similar things that if the DA chose to go after them, they could easily bring a case. This is, of course, the former president's businesses, and therefore it became, you know, a high-profile bit of litigation.
There are other practical implications,
exactly,
right? Talk to me about
But
those.
there are other practical implications, and this is why the DA pushed through with this case. And even though the financial penalty is very small, you now have a criminal conviction hanging over the Trump business empire. And if we know anything about Donald Trump, he's built his empire by borrowing money, mainly from banks and financial institutions. And those banks and financial institutions, they could ignore all of the allegations that were circling the Trump empire as long as they were only allegations. Now that there's a criminal conviction, their due diligence processes will probably prevent them, or prevent a lot of them, from doing business with Donald Trump directly and with his businesses directly, regardless of how they feel about him politically.
Really? So the rules in effect at these banks will dictate that if there is a conviction like this, we cannot do business? Because, you know, I think many of the businesses or the banks that are doing business with the Trump Organization probably didn't learn a whole lot that they didn't know because of this trial.
That's true, but they weren't as liable as they would be now.
Liable meaning legally?
Well, it depends on which jurisdiction. It depends on the bank's internal policies.
Thank you for watching. Go to NewsNationNow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.